It's part 3 of our interview with Bob Circosta on the podcast, which is all about the world of marketing on television through TV shopping networks and infomercials. Are we on the air? I'm your host, Shawn Wilsey, and for over 29 years I've hosted shows on cable shopping networks, generating hundreds of millions of dollars in sales, and now I want to be your guide into this world, explaining how it works, why it works, what doesn't work, and introduce you to the people who are making it the success it is today. And we're going to continue our conversation with the very genial Bob Circosta, who's been kind enough to join us for a third show here. And when we left off at the end of the last show, I said that I want to start this one by explaining who Bud Paxon is. We've talked so much about him. Uncle Bud, Bud Paxon, besides the founder, obviously, of this industry and home shopping club, the Ion Network, as it's known now, he was the creator of that, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He was one of the founders of HSN, of course. He owned that radio station, WWQT, that I talked about. So he was the owner of the radio station. And then when he left HSN in the early 90s, he went out and he bought a whole bunch of radio stations. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to think, Clear Communications or something like that. I can't remember. Yeah. But it was a whole bunch of radio stations he purchased. And then he sold those. And then he started the TV network, like you said, that today is known as the Ion Network. What a brilliant man. You talk about a visionary, a vision. I remember Shawn going to him the early days and saying, Bud, where's this headed? Where's this going? I mean, I got to find a job. I mean, what is going on here? And I'll never forget. He said to me, "You just hang in there." And we were on local TV at that time, and he said, "You just hang in there, boy, because one day, and this is exactly what he said. One day you're going to look out beyond that TV camera, and you're going to see row after row of operators taking orders, like a telethon."
Yeah.
And there was a time, Shawn, you would walk into HSN and you would walk into the room. This room was the size of a football field. And you'd see row after row of operators taking orders. Because at the very beginning, I took all the orders on the air.
A lot of people don't know that. That's true. Explain that. That's the whole reason for on-air phone calls is because you were taking orders, right?
Oh, yeah. I would because it was the home shopping club, though there was no membership fee or anything like that. But you were assigned, if you were a shopper, you were assigned a certain number. It could be 80, 30, 60. And so when you'd call up on the air, I'd say, "Hi, you're on the air with Bob." And yeah, I'd like to have one of those. Okay, what's your number? A 30, 60. Okay, got you down for it. That's it. And then, I would press that button. I had no idea what anyone was going to say. There was no screening, which led to a lot of interesting calls.
I can imagine.
But yeah, some I can't even mention here. But that's the way it was. And then when the calls grew to a certain point, they put another telephone next to me off camera, and they had somebody when the calls was like a rotary, and when it went up to the second bank, they would take those calls on off the air. They would take those orders, but I would keep taking calls on the air, and so that's how it would start back then. We took them on the air.
Just a few more questions, I promise, Bob.
Sure, whatever you need.
What makes a good host? Because the whole hosting job has changed so much since you and I started. What makes a good host?
Well, what I think makes a good host is somebody who can communicate, somebody who is real, somebody who's, someone, if you're watching them, you'd say, I'd like to have a cup of coffee with that person. I'd like to, sit around and talk to that person off the air. It's that ability to relate. It's that ability to resonate. Yes, you have to be able to talk about the product, but those are skills. Okay. What I'm talking about is the will. The will is more important than the skill, I always say. That you have to have that passion. You have to, have that, you have to like what you're doing, enjoy what you're doing, but that's what it takes. It takes, and there are so many good hosts out there right now, but that's truly what it takes, is the ability to reach through that camera and talk with your eyes, not with your mouth, but with your eyes. And because the person that's sitting home and watching you, they're not thinking about the millions of other people that are watching. It's just you two. And so that's what you have to keep that in mind. Now, don't look at the camera as a camera. It's a person.
Yep.
It's a person standing there. And if you're able to do that, but let me also say, with honesty and with integrity and making it real, not faking it. You can't fake it. You cannot, that camera does not lie.
Yep.
And eventually it will be revealed. You cannot fake it. You have to really believe in what you're doing. And I think those are some characteristics that make a good host.
I'll never forget. Day one, probably, my college mass communication, one of my professors said, when you're behind the microphone, this was into radio, you're talking to one person. And to this day, this resonates in my head. I'm talking to one person. That camera is one person to me. It's
so true.
It drives me crazy. I just, and again, we could probably do a whole show on this. It's when I see people on television who are paid some very good money, game show hosts and some news anchors that say, "Welcome back, everybody." It's like you're breaking so many rules with that one sentence. You don't say welcome back because we didn't go, and we're the ones that went away, not you. So don't say welcome back. And everybody, it's not everybody, it's one person. So, but.
Right. Exactly. And then you have to know your product, of course.
Yeah.
And be able to communicate that from a benefit perspective. So a lot of it takes. Do you remember your audition?
Yeah, vividly, like it was yesterday. A telephone, a corded telephone, and a blue topaz bracelet. I did the telephone first, and then did the blue topaz bracelet afterwards. And I remember thinking at the time, it was a cattle call. It was they had a conference room at the Marriott Hotel in South Minneapolis, and most people were in and out fairly quickly. It's like, wow, I'm in here a while. I must be doing something right. So, what was yours? Well, yours was on air, so
I was
that's
on
not
the
a fair
radio,
question.
Right. But what we used to use when we brought people in, the old pencil.
Oh, the pencil test.
Yeah. We would set somebody in front of a mic and not show them anything, and say, I'm going to show you a product here in just a moment, and you have to talk 3 minutes about it, and nonstop. And then we turn the mic on and say, here's your product, and it would be a pencil. And they would have to talk about the pencil, which is not that easy to do.
No, it isn't.
Trust me. Yeah.
Did you ever read about
that was the audition.
Did you ever read about Kathy Levin's pencil test?
No,
Kathy Levin.
I know Kathy.
QVC host. Probably the best pencil test ever. She talked about how, and again, it's dated because it was back when we had touch-tone phones. It's like, ladies, if you've ever done your nails and you're trying to dial a telephone, you can use this pencil to push the buttons on the touch-tone telephone. It was brilliant. She came up with all these different ways of using a pencil.
Good.
I have to ask, because it's, again, kind of a dated thing, but people still remember it. What was the deal with the horn? Why were you honking horns at people?
Well, okay, let me tell you that. On the radio, one day I'm on the radio, and, we would talk to people on the phone when they called up to order something. And we had a listener call in for the product. Her name was Dolly. Okay, Dolly. And she called in for the product, and we took the order, and we talked to her. And at the end of that call, I heard the sound of a horn. And I said, Dolly, what's that? She said, well, that's the horn that I have on my wheelchair, because if I'm in distress or anything, I just make that sound, and the neighbors come over and help me. I said, that sounded pretty good. Didn't think anything else about it. The next caller I took, at the end of their call, they made a sound that was similar to a horn. And then the next caller did the same thing.
Oh, my God.
And it caught on. And on radio now, it caught on, and it became a welcoming ritual that if you didn't, we used to call it, here's a toot. Here's a toot for you. And which I found out later is a drug term, I
Oh,
guess.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
which
yes.
we ran into problems when we went nationwide on TV. We couldn't say that
Oh,
anymore. But
good
anyhow,
point.
so it was a welcoming ritual that people would get upset if they didn't get the toot.
Yeah.
If they didn't get their toot, they would really, they would make mention of it. So it was that and it was interesting. There was a big university. I forget what the name of the university was, but once we went nationwide, a big university did a research study, and they drew the parallel between the horn and Pavlov's dog. If you remember
Really?
that, yeah,
Yes.
that the horn signals viewers, okay, we're moving on to the next product. If you're not looking right now, you need to look, because here comes the next. So it created that message, that connection. Fascinating. I found it
That's
fascinating.
interesting.
Fascinating.
That's really interesting.
And Bobby has the horn. Bobby has the original horn.
No kidding. So, Bob, you've been doing this forever. You've sold it all. I'm going to ask you the same question that I always get. Is there anything you wouldn't sell or have refused to sell?
No. And I'll tell you why I say no is because years ago, when I was a host, they brought a product into me. Now, this was in the 80s, and it was before cell phones, and it was an AM FM radio phone toilet paper dispenser. Imagine that for a second. Okay, I'll let that sink in. All right. AM FM radio telephone toilet paper dispenser. And so I looked at it and I said, are you kidding me? I said, who the heck is going to want to buy this? And we went out on the air and we sold about 8,000 of them in less than 10 minutes.
Of course.
And the lesson that I learned that day, Shawn, was that it's not important what I think. My role is to talk about the benefits of what it is I have.
Yeah.
And how somebody can truly benefit from using that product. And back then, once again, it was before cell phones. I think I said something like, how many times have you gotten a phone call at the most inopportune moment? You had to miss the call. Well, you'll never miss another opportunity. That type of thing. But I learned that valuable lesson. So when I look at products now, and I look at them differently now than I used to as a host, but when I looked at products, it was okay. How's this going to help somebody? How can somebody's life be better because of this? So that's why I say no. I don't have to like it. I just have to know about it and be able to communicate. It may not be for me. And you know what? Nobody cares.
Yeah,
nobody cares.
That's true.
So yeah. So that's the answer there.
Mentioning that product reminds me of something that just reappeared on YouTube a few weeks ago. Someone posted video of a 60 Minutes segment, and you're featured in it, where, and I can't think of the reporter's name, was there and covered...
Morley Safer.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And covered Home Shopping Club. What was it like? Because you were on air. I mean, you had 60 Minutes roaming around here. You know, they're known for their investigative reports. What was going through your head?
And back then, they were feared greatly.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst thing you could ever hear is that, hey, Mike Wallace is in the waiting room ready to talk to you, And so when it came down that 60 Minutes wanted to come in and do a profile of home shopping, again, this was like 86, 87, something like that. It made me nervous.
Sure.
It made me nervous. Only not because I thought I was involved in something that wasn't right, but I thought it would be misinterpreted, misunderstood. And I told Bud, I said, Bud, I would rather not be a part of this, because I don't want a black eye on this industry. This industry is everything to me, and I love it, and I love the people in it. So but then they took pictures, they were right there. And it was just, let me tell you, I was nervous.
Yeah,
I was nervous glancing over and seeing, I was sitting there with Bud, and I'd glance over and I'd see Morley Safer, and he would see me, and I'd be talking, and then I would see him write down something. And I would
Oh,
think,
what did
oh
I
boy.
say?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
I don't know, Your Honor. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was a very nice piece. And Bud did a great job, and the others did a phenomenal job.
No, it was a good piece. And in fact, that's, again, this is reminding me as well. We had talked about how there was a second network. There was a third network for a while, wasn't there?
That's right. That. It was called America's Store.
That's what it was. Yes.
America's Store.
My buddy
And
Skip Connolly was there for a while. He left
yeah,
Minneapolis and went down there. Yeah.
Skip was my assistant for
Yep.
many, many years.
Yep.
Oh, great guy.
That's right.
Great guy. And and America's Store, we to this day we don't know where it's seen or where it was seen. Trust me. It was, I mean, if you'd sell 1,000 of something on the network, you would sell 2 on America's Store. But it was a great way to train. It was a great way to learn. It was a great day to try out your presentation, you know.
Yeah.
But as far as selling anything, nah. It was called Network 4. So you had Network 1, which was cable.
Right.
Network 2, which was the UHF stations. Network 4 was America's Store. Network 3, that was the game show inventory.
Oh, get out.
No, that was the game show inventory.
Oh,
wow, this brings back so many memories. I haven't talked about this stuff for years.
This is literally just coming to me. I have 2 pages of notes here, and this is stuff that is it's just hitting me as I discuss this with you, because speaking of Skip Connolly is reminding me, because I met him down there when he was there. And you might not even know, because HSN and we had a brief song and dance about, 13 years or so ago. And nothing ever went, obviously, of that. But they were in that massive campus that they're in to these days.
Yes.
Where did you guys start? Was it, because I could swear someone said it was a strip mall or something that you started in.
It was a strip mall on Hercules Avenue. It was next to a Halloween costume shop, and it was across the street from a private small plane airport. And it was, and then you would walk in the front of this, and it was where the radio station was.
Okay.
And so you would see the person on the air through the glass and everything. And then what we did when we went to local TV, we went further down the hall and literally took a closet and made a TV studio out of it. Wow. In fact, I'll tell you what happened. When we were on local TV, the merchandise room was in the room right next to this closet, the studio. Okay. And so one day I walk in. And so what you would do, you would go into the merchandise room, you'd pick out the product, you'd walk back out, walk into the studio and do your show. I walk into the studio one day and I hear Bobby on the air talking about a product. And
Bobby
she's
Ray.
On the air. Bobby Ray.
Yep.
Bobby Ray Carter. But I didn't see her. And so I'm looking around, and finally I look behind the desk, and here's Bobby crawling through a hole in the wall. Somebody had cut a hole between the 2 rooms, thinking, rightfully so, that, hey, I can get the products sooner if I just grab it, crawl through the hole, and I'm right there on the air. And that's what Bobby was doing.
Oh my gosh. Oh, of course.
Now, we thought that was progress, Of
course.
I mean, that was just... Oh, did I ever tell you the time we sold this product on the air when we were nationwide? It was, what the hell was it? Oh, a melatonin, in capsules.
Oh, yeah.
And it would make you sleep, right?
Right.
And then we saw all of a sudden that our overnight sales went down. And we kept saying, wait a minute, why are we selling this?
Yes, exactly.
We're taking the pills, they're going to sleep, they're not shopping. So we got rid of that. So one of the beautiful parts about home shopping is that you can react right away.
Yeah.
A brick and mortar, if you got ties out there, you got to keep them out there for the season. With us, if you have ties on the air and they're not selling, get the hook, put out something else. And if something else is selling all of a sudden, then as much as you can do. So being able to react instantly to what you're doing is one of the greatest things about home shopping.
You have been a vendor guest now for a lot of years on HSN and now in QVC as well, since they're all in one. What's the big difference for you as the vendor as opposed to the pitch man, quote unquote?
Well, if you're into the vendoring part of it, obviously it has much more of a business infrastructure part to it, understanding a lot of other facets. If you're going on the air and selling the product, you're just interested in talking about the product. So there's a difference there. I love being I mean, I don't look at it much differently. I mean, many of the hosts, if not all, are very good friends of mine, and so I enjoy being with them, and they just kind of, they just let me go.
Right.
but I enjoy it. I really enjoy that part of it. I mean, there are separate roles. I mean, the role of the host is really to, talk about the facts and talk about, what they call the CTA, which is call to action, to get people to call in. And the role of the guest is really the expert on the product, to educate me about the product in a beneficial way. So
right.
They're two separate roles, and I enjoy doing them both. I mean, I really do. I just love this business. I love this industry. I really do.
Carmela Richards told me my first date.
Oh, there's another name.
My first date.
Carmela.
I know.
Love Carmela.
She told me my first day this industry will get in your blood. And day one, I didn't understand what she meant. I get it now. I totally get it. 20 years ago.
And you are so good. Let me just jump in for a second. No. You are. This is not planned. And I'm not saying it because we're talking to each other. I've watched you. I mean, you are so good. Remember earlier when I said one of the characteristics of a host is somebody who resonates, who's somebody who can create that relationship. That's what you do. You create because you're real. You're real. There's nothing, if people meet you, and I've had the pleasure a couple of times to meet you in person, that's Shawn. I mean, it's the same person. And that to your credit, I mean, you're just very, very, very good at what you do. You really are.
The kindest thing you could say to me. So I appreciate that.
Sure.
20 years ago, the internet hits. People said TV shopping, it's dead. Cutting the cable is now a big thing. People are getting rid of cable, getting rid of satellite. These things, our cell phones, are attached to us now. Where are we in 5 years? Where are we in 10 years?
Well, I think, first of all, because the way things are now with the different platforms and the cell phone, everybody really owns their own home shopping channel. They have it in their pocket. They have it on their cell phone. So if somebody wants to market themselves, if they want to market a product or a service, they can do that through their telephone. So everybody has their own home shopping network. Where it's going in the future, it's going to revolve around one word, and that word's convenience. Whatever is more convenient, that's what will grow. When we started home shopping, we at that time were the more convenient way to do it. Because up until then, you had to get in the car, you could order from a catalog, whatever, but you had to get in the car, go to the mall. We came along and said, wait a minute, just sit at home, relax. We'll come to you and we'll present it. So that made us successful, I really believe. And then Amazon came along and made it even more convenient. And somebody will come along with even a more convenient way to do it than is done right now. And that's where the future is. No doubt about it.
Bob, I've already told you I want to have you back just to talk about your book. We'll do a complete show on that at some point because Bob has written a book. But I'll give you a couple seconds here. Let's plug your book. Please mention your book for anybody that might be interested.
Well, over the years, you can imagine, I mean, a lot of publishers have come to me and said, Bob, I'd like you should write a book with all these experiences and all, with the celebrity. And they all wanted me to write sort of a kiss and tell book. Okay. But that's not who I am. That I'm just not made up that way. and that had no interest. It probably would sell extremely well.
Yes, it would.
But I'm just not, that's not important to me. And what I wanted to do was create more of a reference manual that people in all business could use when they're talking about their product or their service. So they're preparing their presentation. They're getting ready to go into a big meeting and they have to make an important presentation. What are some things they have to keep in mind? And so that's what the book that I put together. Yes, I tell the home shopping story like we did here, and give other little tidbits, but it's really, I wanted to create something that people could come back to over and over again and say, okay, I didn't really get the sales today that I wanted. Maybe it's selling insurance, real estate, whatever, it doesn't matter. And you're thinking, I really didn't get the results today. Why? What did I do wrong? This book will clearly identify that. And so that's what I wanted to come up with because, at my age now, I'm thinking more legacy than anything else. And I just hope it helps a lot of people out there, and it will continue to help them long after I'm gone. I mean, I don't know how long I'm going to do this. I tell you, I'll quit. I'll quit when I don't enjoy it.
There you go.
And I enjoy it. I enjoy it as much now than I ever did, as much as I ever did. Yeah. Trust me. So when that stops, then because I've been so blessed in my life, so fortunate, and I don't say it from an ego perspective, but I don't, I'm in a position, I really don't need to do it anymore. I want to do it.
Right.
And I enjoy it. And I'm very much into wellness products now. And I do a lot of wellness products on the air. And I guess that has a lot to do with my stage in life where I'm thinking more about wellness now than probably I ever did.
Right.
And those items really appeal to me. So that's what I'm focused on right now. But I've just been so blessed, and I've met so many people. Oh my goodness. And anything that I've ever, I guess you could say, accomplished or whatever, it's not because of what I've done. It's because of what others have helped me do. And without everybody else, it would not have been possible. And so I'm truly a blessed person. There's no question in my mind. And I'm grateful every day.
I'm only going to say what I'm about to say because I admire Bob so much, and he's one of my mentors, and I adore him. But, Mr. Salesman, you forgot to give out the name of your book. Would you care to tell people what book they're looking for?
Oh, you're the best. You're the best, Shawn. Oh, wait a minute. I'm cracking up. I need some water. Hold on. Okay. No, I called it Life's a Pitch.
Yes.
Okay. And truly it is, because we're talking about communication through the whole thing. And that was great. That was a great point.
Sorry.
And you caught me on that. Yeah.
Had to, yes. But no, it is a
I'd
great
like
book.
to give an 800 number, but I don't have it. But that's okay.
Well, yeah, I got mine through Amazon. I'm sure it's still on Amazon. I have a Kindle copy of it, actually,
I think so.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you should have told me. I'd have sent you one.
So no. I want to make sure that you're getting paid properly for it. So I got mine through Amazon. So anybody that wants one, check out Amazon. And I am going to have Bob back so we can talk about it, because it really is. It's a great read, and he's right. It's not just because this podcast is dedicated towards DRTV, infomercials, TV shopping, but it's a great read. It will help any salesperson, no matter what your profession is. So, Bob, I can't thank you enough.
Well, I've already told how much I think of you, and I'm just one of your biggest fans. And I'm so honored that you reached out and asked me to be on the program. In fact, I think I reached out to you, and I said, listen, I'd love the idea that you're doing here, the podcast, if I can help in any way. I wasn't trying to be a guest. I was just, if I can answer any questions for you that you might not know the answers to from the early days, I'm happy to help, because I think what you're doing with this podcast is really a terrific idea. But thank you so very, very much. And just keep doing what you're doing, my friend, because you're doing it extremely well.
And you as well. Thank you so very much. Bob Circosta, ladies and gentlemen.
Our final item today was this dazzling 14-karat gold and diamond heart-shaped pendant. 18 round-cut genuine diamonds set the pendant on fire. Save over 55% when you order today. It's appraised at $400, but it's yours for $177.25. And you can order from the Home Shopping Club with confidence. If for any reason you're not satisfied with any item, we'll refund the purchase price, plus the original shipping and handling. It's a 30-day unconditional satisfaction guarantee. Remember, our operators are on duty all day to take your order. We'll see you the next time on the Home Shopping Game. Wardrobe for Bob Doan and Bob Circosta, provided by Rick Halleck, Sherman Oaks, California. Promotional consideration provided by Clarion Hotel, Ontario.
Please do not forget to check out Bob Circosta on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Bob Circosta, just search the name. Easiest way to find him is on bobcircosta.com. So if you want to go there and check out more information, too, about the book is on his website. So make sure that you go there and check that out. I hope that you'll be checking me out on Twitter, where I am Shawn Wilsey, full name ShawnWilsie, and on Instagram at @SWilsey. Thank you for downloading this edition of Are We on the Air, and huge thanks to Bob Circosta. This has been a King Bobby production.
Yes, I know, Travis. That's why we give such bargains.